Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite makes the process of becoming a published best-selling author as simple as sipping your morning cup of coffee. You can learn more about Authors Unite at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today, I have Natalie Viglione with us, and she empowers companies and people. She's the founder at Team Goo, and she does consulting in sales, marketing, and operations. And she is the creator of Disrupt Now, which is life guidance for people seeking to evolve their careers or become entrepreneurs. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tyler. I'm glad to be on.
Of course. Grateful to have you here. We'll jump right into the first one, Natalie. The first one is, what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Yeah, so I thought long and hard on this one. And while this podcast, clearly, it's about business, I'm going to mention something a little more personal because I think the truth is that, our business lives and our personal lives, they're never really separate. Right. So I was recently diagnosed with a very difficult syndrome, and it's affected my health, and it really has affected my overall life with my business as well. So I had to really course correct. So what I've realized through the angst of understanding how to try to get back to some degree of feeling, quote unquote, normal, whatever that is, I've realized that even the darkest of dark and the hardest of hard days have absolute great lessons for us and opportunities for growth. So the valuable message, I'm really trying to convey is that I don't believe that we go through triumphs or, tribulations without there being a really good underlying reason and a valuable way for us to evolve who we are, as a business owner and in our personal lives. So the real big part to that is just discovering that growth opportunity to take that by the reins. So I'm doing that now. It's not easy, but I think what helps us to evolve is taking the reins and feeling in control of that rather than going down darker paths that can make you suffer further.
And I totally agree. And thank you for sharing that with us. The next one I have for you, I'm excited for your answer on this one because it seems like you have a lot going on. So what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
Yeah. So, kind of looking at my expertise over the last 20 years, I very much have focused on a company's growth. So marketing, sales, and things around those functions. I think a valuable piece of insight I'd like to share is that don't do what everyone else does and don't be afraid to break cycles. I see this in working with companies of all sizes, and it's often a major setback for people that are stuck in their lives as well. In the marketing and sales part, there are so many companies that try to copy what other companies do, and they keep doing the same old and just not getting to where they want to go. The interesting part is I see this happening in people's personal lives too. So I think that disruption is actually very good, and I'm always focused on the up in that word, because I think if we break cycles and we do what's right for your unique situation and your unique company, it can take you a lot farther, for sure.
And it could tie in, but what's your best piece of overall business advice? So not necessarily industry specific.
Never, especially, as an entrepreneur, never, ever for the long term anyway, fake it till you make it. I think that truly authentic people do get ahead in business and life. And there's really never a good reason to not be who you truly are. That's what I would have told myself, going back in my 20s.
Sure. No, I couldn't agree more. I think the best brand is just being you, because there's a lot of talk of personal branding out there right now. And I just think the faking that you can't maintain faking it. So it's if you're not a suit and tie type of person, then maybe it's not best that your whole brand is suit and tie because you just won't be able to maintain that. Maybe it's best to be more like Gary Vee. That's more casual look,
Exactly. Yep. So 100%.
And then if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
That would definitely be authentic. I often found myself trying to be like the guy's guy woman. I don't even know how to say that really, but I was like, yeah, I drink scotch. Yeah, we can, but I wasn't, while maybe I can enjoy those things, I wasn't being truly who I was. So I would definitely go back and of course correct some of those things.
And
sure.
Yeah, for sure. You got to be careful. Too much scotch, that can hurt anybody.
Right, yeah, exactly.
In your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
Well, if we can take the time to really learn who we are at the very core, if we can stop placating to others to try to just fit in, most especially this happens, I think, with family and, to bosses, colleagues, to friends that maybe you just don't jive with. I think a key to suffering is that we really struggle to allow ourselves to be totally unique and be the different people that we are. I think the key is just be you and be vibrant in who you are.
And what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
A recent book I've read in the last year that had some major big messages to me was Coop Blackson's You Are the One. The number one lesson is honestly sitting in the title. It's stop waiting for someone to come save you. There's no one coming. There's no one but yourself. So either you do what you love, you go for what you want, you do things with or without a quote unquote someone else, or, you could get a life full of suffering. So it's a really, really powerful message in that book that really, was very clear to me.
And what is your favorite quote and why?
It's not really known if this came from Albert Einstein or not. The Internet of Things isn't quite sure of the source, but it doesn't matter. It's my favorite quote anyway. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And, it's my favorite quote because I think this happens to us humans a lot. We get stuck in cycles. We get stuck in the same loop over and over and over. And, until you see at a higher level what those patterns are, until you break them, you forever get stuck in that status quo and expecting things to be different. So the honest answer is, I think that what is very clear in that quote is that things will not be different until you make them different.
Thank you so much for coming on. The last one I have for you before we let you go is, where is the best place for people to find and/or connect with you online?
Yeah, I think the easiest place is my personal site, as it kind of gives you a little scope about who I am, what I do, and connect you to my brands. But it's NatalieViglione.biz.
Perfect. Thanks again for jumping on.
Yeah, Tyler, no problem. Thank you.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.